Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Echo of life. He never truly grew up. Not where it matters. Not in the soul. You see him sketching grand ideas in coffee shops, visions that never leave the page. You see him in relationships, intense and consuming, until life asks for something real, and he disappears. He chases meaning but evades responsibility. He dreams of greatness but avoids the small, daily steps. He's not lazy. He's not incapable. He's stuck. Imprisoned in a myth he doesn't even know he's living. Depth psychology calls this the eternal youth archetype, a figure residing in the masculine psyche. A boy suspended in a man's body, a spirit allergic to limitation, captivated by potential, yet terrified of becoming real. This figure isn't simply a man who refuses to grow up. He's a man who fears ending in every form. The death of freedom, of possibility, of being seen as special. So he drifts. He keeps life in draft mode, never committing, never grounding his energy into the tangible world. Because to commit is to choose, and to choose means letting go of every other possible future. And to him, that feels unbearable. He lives in the realm of what could be. The moment he touches what is, he retreats. How does someone become this way? We must look back. The eternal youth often begins as a boy who was either overprotected or emotionally unattended. Sometimes both. In overprotection, he is smothered with care but denied autonomy. Praised but never challenged. His failures are softened, his discomforts removed. He never learns to face resistance because someone always intervenes. So the world becomes terrifying, not because it's cruel, but because it's unfamiliar. Then there's the other path, emotional neglect. He isn't told he's special. He isn't told much at all. Perhaps his parents were absent, preoccupied, or distant. Maybe there was unspoken pain. So he retreats inward. He builds inner worlds, becomes a dreamer. Those dreams become his shelter, the one place no one can hurt him. In both cases, the boy never completes the passage into mature adulthood. He never learns to anchor his spirit in structure. He fears growing up not because he's weak, but because adulthood, to him, represents abandonment, failure, betrayal, a kind of soul death. So what does he do? He stays in motion. He chases excitement. He lives in spontaneity. He avoids stability, not out of rebellion, but self-preservation. Here's the paradox. The eternal youth often appears charming, magnetic, alive. He's passionate, romantic, emotionally expressive. He seems vibrant in ways other men might not. And that's precisely why people are drawn to him. But the closer you get, the more confusing it becomes. One day he's fully present. The next, he's distant. One week he's launching a new venture. The next, he's lost in distraction. You might think he's just afraid. I can help. He just needs time. But time doesn't heal this. The wound isn't on the clock. It's in the soul. As depth psychologists have noted, the eternal youth is the boy who cannot age. Not because he's youthful, but because he cannot yet meet the weight of life's responsibilities. The tragedy is this: he isn't malicious. He isn't trying to hurt anyone. He simply hasn't met himself yet. His entire existence is built around protecting an inner child, the sensitive, fragile, brilliant part that was never properly nurtured. So he builds a castle of dreams around that child. He guards it with ego. He escapes through romance, art, ideas, games, anything but stillness. Because if he stops running, he might have to hear the cry he's been avoiding his whole life. Where were they when I needed guidance? Why didn't anyone prepare me? Why does responsibility feel like dying? So, like a modern-day Peter Pan, he finds refuge in a personal neverland. A place where he's never the problem. Where life remains an idea, not a discipline. Where love is a fantasy, not a daily choice. But here's the twist. The eternal youth isn't evil. He's incomplete. There is brilliance in him. He's visionary, sensitive. He accesses realms of imagination many lose along the way. But brilliance without grounding becomes its own kind of madness. It burns out. And that's the shadow side. The man who never finishes what he starts. the partner who never fully shows up, the father who plays but cannot protect, the artist who dreams but never creates. The goal is not to kill the boy inside, but to integrate him, to bring the child's imagination into the adult's responsibility, to create wholeness, not perfection. What happens when the boy refuses to mature? When a man avoids discomfort so long that comfort becomes his cage. Eventually, the fantasy cracks. Maybe he loses a job, a relationship. Maybe he wakes one morning surrounded by half-finished dreams and broken promises. That's when the real pain begins, not external consequence, but the inner ache of knowing you've been running from your own life. This is the core wound of the eternal youth. Life keeps happening without him. And sooner or later, he realizes something devastating. Potential is no longer exciting. It's shameful. He becomes haunted by what he could have been, what he should have done, who he might have become, if only he had chosen to stay. At this psychological cliff, there are two paths. One, he doubles down. He blames the world. He grows cynical, bitter. He escapes deeper into distraction, chasing new thrills, abandoning projects, spinning a story that someday it will all click. Or two, he stops running. He turns inward and asks the question he's never dared. What am I so afraid of? This is where shadow work begins, not as a technique, but as a reckoning. Because to leave Neverland, you don't just grow up. You grieve. You grieve the innocence that was lost, the dreams that died in avoidance, the relationships your fear sabotaged. You begin to meet the parts of yourself you exiled, the part that longs to be seen, the part terrified of failure, the part that doesn't believe he can handle real life, the part that just wants to be held and told, "You are enough." Integration, not perfection, is the aim of healing. As one foundational thinker noted, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. For the eternal youth, the unconscious is a field of unmet needs and ungrieved losses. Until he returns to reclaim them, he will keep unconsciously creating chaos, disappointment, and fantasy-driven escape. The key is symbolic death, allowing the boy inside to die not in spirit but in dominance, choosing grounding over glamour, process over perfection, devotion over escape. That's the shift. The dreamer becomes the builder. The lover becomes the protector. The boy becomes a man, not by rejecting his dreams, but by daring to anchor them in reality. This journey isn't clean. It's messy. It's dark. It's terrifying because there's a reason the boy refused to grow. Growth never felt safe. Responsibility felt like a trap. Commitment felt like death. So healing isn't just about changing behavior. It's about nervous system regulation, trauma recovery, reparenting the parts of yourself that were never taught how to hold discomfort. This is why practices like shadow work, inner child healing, and parts work are essential. They help the eternal youth slowly build an inner father, a part of himself that can offer structure, protection, and safe space to his wild inner boy. When this happens, the transformation is profound. He doesn't lose his magic. He channels it. He doesn't stop dreaming. He learns to build from the dream. He doesn't stop being passionate. He learns to stay when it's hard. And perhaps most powerfully, he learns to love, not as a child clinging to a caretaker, but as a man capable of holding space for another soul. This is what maturity truly is. Not boring, not beige, but solid, grounded, deep. It's the soil where purpose can finally grow. So, to those who recognize the eternal youth in themselves, this is your invitation. You don't need to abandon your dreams or become someone else. You only need to stop running from who you are. Yes, the world can be painful. Yes, adulthood asks much. But avoidance is harder because it slowly steals your soul. It is not too late. You can still become who you are meant to be, not in spite of your pain, but because of it. And to those who love a man suspended in youth, understand he isn't trying to hurt you. He's trying to survive something he doesn't yet have words for. You cannot save him. You cannot grow for him. But you can choose yourself. And sometimes the most loving act is to step back and let him face the mirror alone. Every archetype must be faced, integrated, and transcended. The eternal youth is no exception. The boy inside doesn't need to be killed. He needs to be fathered. And once he is, he doesn't vanish. He becomes a source of creative fire, love, and soul. Not as fantasy, but as reality grounded in truth. That's what the world needs now. Not more boys pretending to be men, but men who have faced their inner boys and chosen to become whole. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel. For more update,